Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and today's going to be probably what's going to become a tradition video. Last year, around the same time, I did top selling items of 2019. I'm going to do it again, top selling items of 2020, a little bit different, try to make it a little interesting, so it's not the same exact thing from last year. But 2020, for most of us, maybe was not the best year. You know, obviously. Hoping for a great 2021 for everybody, but maybe you had something good happen in 2020. I mean, I'm sure a lot of babies were born, people got married, people had good things happen. So if it was a good year for you, I'm I'm happy for you. So a little bit of a rundown. So like last year, I have my notes here. The actual number one, two, and three selling items by quantity were spring bars. And it just speaks volumes again that I think a lot of people that frequent my site are kind of watch aficionados, not just casual watch buyers. So they're constantly upgrading, changing the look of their watch. So if you want to know the most common size spring bar sold, 1.8 millimeter in diameter, 22 millimeter long, followed by Seiko fat spring bars. C220FS, those 2.5 millimeter fat bars that you find on divers, and then a 20 millimeter of the 1.8 millimeter bar. If we look at the top five items though, and we look at both quantity and we look at revenue, obviously spring bars for revenue, nowhere near the top of the pile, probably actually all the way at the bottom of the pile since they're a buck a pair. Two watches stand out in the tops. So Seiko SKX007J continued to perform this year. Unfortunately, now it kind of looks like they're not available. I don't know if I'll get any more. Haven't had any at this point for a couple of weeks. I was offered some back in November, early November. The buying price was close to my selling price now. Totally ridiculous. So I said no thank you. So there are still some out there. I'm guessing someone will snatch them up. But what are they going to go for? 450? I mean, insane. So I couldn't do that. But still, my number one selling watch was still the SKX007J. I can say pretty much for certain that will not happen in 2021. But something I am very happy with. ISL 18, the Islander 18, number two, the second best-selling watch of the year. This is a watch that came out towards the beginning of the year. It didn't even have a whole calendar year to sell, but it's the Yachtmaster-inspired watch, and it sells day in, day out. It sells better than the plain old ISL 01 and 02 black watches. So really thrilled to have the 18 ISL 18 rounding out the top spots. And then another top one would be ISL 21, which is that green dial 38 millimeter. And pretty much the only reason this guy made the list was because I put it on sale on Black Friday, and I ran through a couple hundred of them over that weekend. So that kind of elevated its position, but I will still continue to produce the watch, even though now it actually is sold out. The ISL 01 and 02 continue to be solid sellers. I'm just referring to my notes. This was a surprise for me. I had a marathon enter the top 10 best-selling watches on my website. The GSAR 41mm Auto WW194006. Why it surprises me? It's an expensive watch. It's not cheap at all, around $1,000. And that's one of the best sellers. That was like, whew, I couldn't believe that one. I know I sold a lot of them. I didn't think I sold that many of them. And then also right next to that would be the Squale 1521 Polished Blue Ocean. Again, helped by the fact that I did put it on sale on Black Friday. A lot of people picked those up, but still a continual good seller all year. I'm sorry, I didn't do a wrist check. So I guess if you want to cap off 2020, I'm actually wearing two acquisitions for 2020. The Spring Drive GMT that I picked up, which... wow, guys, I know it's a big watch, but titanium, it's so light and so comfortable. And I know I showed this in the video, but you press the two buttons, the clasp extends a little bit. it's so easy. So your wrist gets a little bit sweaty, just press the buttons and kind of flex your wrist, and the bracelet opens up like, an eighth or a quarter of an inch. So nifty. And then I'm still sporting this. This is that Concord I picked up just recently. Well, not, yeah, I guess like a couple months ago. I just did a video on it though. That would be my two pickups, I guess, for the year. My two big pickups. Maybe my biggest pickup would be the Daytona I did a video on. I hardly ever wear it, but these would be my two big pickups for the year. You ever wonder why most people don't have a running clock going on a video? It's because when you cut like I just had to, the clock jumps and it looks weird. By the way, this clock is actually ticking just a teeny weeny bit slow. I have to change the battery. So if you're a fan of relativistic physics, you can just say we're traveling somewhere near the speed of light. If that went over your head, don't worry, it probably went over 99% of the heads of people that are watching. And then we'll talk mod parts. The coin edge bezel for the Orient Mako and Ray 2 that I developed came out earlier this year. That is my #1 selling mod part. I guess, again, because no one else had made one before, actually, that's not true. I think someone else did have it, but I guess it wasn't marketed. And I found out that person had it around the same time I came out with mine, kind of like Newton and Leibniz with calculus. Again, another nerd joke. But being that I was one of the first people to have it, tons of people bought those because there are not many options for the Ray and Mako 2. So that's one of the best-selling mod parts I did. Another best-selling mod continues to be the strap code bracelets for the 007, both the O style and the J style. Last year I had sold a ton of them. This year again, lots of people are looking to buy them. And let's just see if there's any more notables. Ceramic inserts were big for the 007s. People, the biggest selling ceramic insert would be the CO3, which is their classic 007 insert, but set in ceramic. I think that's about it. So what's coming up for 2021? Well, as I always say, it's more of the same. Definitely the Islander brand will continue and continue and continue to go on. I've got, I think it's like 5 or 6 more just generic styles in the pipeline. Forget dial variations of each one. And those I'm going to plan out the releases over the year, so it's not just all a dump in January or February. So I'm going to keep it going with the brand. I'm definitely continuing on the mod part trail. Like I just said on the Orient bezels, I'm trying to do stuff now that nobody really has at this point, or markets that have been overlooked. So I don't want to say too much, but I'm developing parts for models where there are no parts yet, or there might be something missing. So I'm going to try to hit that market as well. But I think that's about it. This has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, talking about 2020 year in review, telling you the best-selling items. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so. Questions or comments? What do you think about the best-selling watches and items of 2020? Put them down below, and I'll be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.